Happy Monday, Clinton County, Wilmington, Ohio, 45177. So another win was awarded to Mr. Petrie today. We take that as a team. There's a few of us that are in this fight together. So if you didn't know, Mr. Melander and another jackwagon filed a grievance against Mr. Petrie for practicing law without a license. He did no such thing. We have these things called powers of attorney, and they try to say that he cannot aid Mr. Pitzer, the handicap man, for which they themselves refuse to help the guy, get him an attorney. I mean, he's obviously disabled. He can't help himself. He can't write, can't type. On his own. So the Ohio Supreme Court decided they weren't going to pursue that. So there's that. Speaking of the disciplinary council and grievances, there was a couple of grievances filed on a certain dipshit who thinks he's scot-free. No, you're not. There's these two people that have very powerful grievances. More powerful than anything that I've seen or composed. I'll tell you that right now. And their evidence is so damning that I think this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So, not going to mention names yet. I'm going to make sure that this is protected. But just to let you know, you scurvy little shit, there was no evidence provided. These people were waiting for the disciplinary council to collect that evidence, waiting for calls, and input from them. So they waited and waited and waited, and nothing happened. And all of a sudden, they got a letter due to no information provided. This person was found to be not in the grievance was denied, but they're going back. This time, they're going to have the evidence that they needed. So, stand by. Folks, I'm telling you, this is. I would hate, and I mean this. I would hate to be those individuals at the disciplinary council realizing just how many dirty ass lawyers that exist in the state of Ohio, because it can. And I know it's not just here. That refuse to practice and uphold their oaths, and they're simply dipshits. A lot of them. There's a lot of damn good ones that take their jobs very seriously and are to be held in high regard. Yeah. I made a couple of claims. It's just my opinion. I noticed, and I composed an email, and I sent it to the court, and I sent it, a few other places, asking questions. Okay, isn't segregating and creating a drug court discriminatory? Isn't that discrimination? I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question. It would be an interesting thing to ponder. Why are you segregating the drug addicts from the boozers and the jaywalkers and the rest of the crew that show up for court? My opinion. Well, that's how you separate those that's how you separate your prey, those victims, those from which you prey on. Those to find out if they have insurances to pay for certain rehabs and certain STAR programs. So I mean, how could the drug court exist with no addicts? Well, you import your own, and you tell them, hey, we're just going to take you down here and to Wilmington, and guess what? There's a food kitchen, and it's never full. I mean, they can take care of you and feed you, and what happens when you relocate a bunch of addicts? Well, I mean, most addicts, sadly, it is what it is. They turn to crime, and When they turn to crime, then where do they end up at? Well, they go to drug court. And then they say, hey, you know what, buddy? I got just the thing for you. And similar things happened in Columbus, Ohio. And it was called, and they made a movie about it called Body Brokering. And I think that's happening right here in Wilmington, Ohio. That's what I believe. My opinion. And based off, some of the information that I've gathered, some of these people are from a few hours away. Some even, another state that kind of migrated here, but all of a sudden they ended up in Canton. All of a sudden, hey, I'm now in Wilmington. So you're going to bypass all of those much more resourceful cities to come to Wilmington, Ohio. Saw with my own eyes, folks. Van loads of people being dropped off here with suitcases and backpacks, and they just get out and they just disappeared. And they brought with them their troubles, their crimes, and their problems, and I feel sorry for them. I do, and I pray for them. I really do. But sadly, and unfortunately, I don't believe Wilmington has the resources to help them. But they're trying to create those resources and get grants and such, Which, by the way, once those grants are received, I was told by the former records custodian that I don't believe there's any accountability for those grants once they get them, Mr. Thomas. Really? That's interesting. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting. So that being said, I think there's lots of wheels spinning here in Clinton County. I think there's a lot of eyes now on Clinton County. I think with some of the news outlets that have now taken the time to actually dig in and read. And let me tell you something, folks, all of you naysayers who don't believe that these news medias have dug into Casey Pitzer's case, like from first page to last, you have sadly mistaken. That's all I'll say. So that's far from being over. It's only begun, and everyone tied up in that. I'll say it again. You should probably be worried, depending on the level of which you were tied up in it, because that's not a legitimate case. I mean, accident, no accident, murder, no murder. I don't give a shit. That case is illegitimate as all get out. The lies that were told still being told. People are now, from a media standpoint, they're seeing it, and now they're asking questions of Mr. Petrie, myself, and Greg. So I'll say it again, that all it takes, and if I were in that thing in any way, shape, or form, from anything, I promise you, I would want free and clear of that. I couldn't sleep knowing that an innocent person died or was killed, and I knew something about it, and that poor man was being haunted, and everyone is now starting to look at you like, dude, yeah, something ain't right here, and you know it. So yeah, I couldn't have people thinking that way of me. I couldn't. Yeah, but there's that one person that's going to be seeking amnesty, and they're probably going to run to another state and run straight to their local FBI office and spill the beans. Prediction. And when the beans are spilled, well, everyone involved is probably going to. Because I'll tell you right now, of the individuals that I see that are tied up in that, I trust none of them. Zero. So, Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's funny when when Daryl and myself we go and Mr. Pitzer, we get cops called on us for going to seek records. Anybody ever gone and requested records and got 12 cops called on you for nothing? Anyone ever got a CPO filed against you, civil protection order, because you went and you were seeking records and you were tagging people in an email? That was threatening. Nah. No. See, these people are they want us shut down and up bad. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I think when they find out or finding out, based off, what how delusional the judge is. I mean, that guy's just he's out there. I mean, he honestly believes. I mean, he's that type of, in my opinion, he's that type of liar that everything that comes out of his mouth, even though it could be a lie, he believes it, and he believes it with passion. Those people are scary as shit. Those people are scary. So, some of the things, where's it at? You got okay. This is a quote. Okay. I'm gonna send. This is absolutely amazing. Nope. I'm sorry about this, folks. Is this it? Yes, I believe it is it. I believe it's it. The very bottom of his rant. Since that, since that day, Mr. Thomas has filed multiple disciplinary complaints against me and my son, all summarily rejected by the Ohio Supreme Court. Really? Really? Says the guy facing 31 counts of misconduct. Anyway, yep, I think your boy's about to follow. I think like father, like son. I mean, what can you expect? What can you expect? That's my opinion. I think. I mean, so I mean, one can't be guilty without the other, right? Because one couldn't have existed without the other. In my opinion, right? And not to mention a few other choice things that are just quite frankly, I mean, my opinion. If somebody like that went and I was a judge would just step before me, that piece of crap. I'm 20 years in prison. Bye. See ya. See ya. I mean, for somebody to care so little about the health and well being of children, to state a term called prosecutorial discretion, while having five elements, four or five elements handed to you, all of which you only needed one to convict a minimum of domestic violence. No, sir. Yeah, you should be worried. Because I promise you, as God is my witness, you've not heard the last of that one. I guarantee it. And I like again, could you imagine being that person who thinks, oh, I'll say prosecutorial discretion. Probably got that one from his pappy, Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'll just use that. They can't question me. Well, they might not be able to, but the people who dangle your license above your head certainly can. And I think that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, can you imagine being asked, tell me how you came to prosecute. How did you use prosecutorial misconduct, sir? You had a medical report. You had pictures of injury. You had a police report, and you had a recording of the incident. And oh, by the way, since this use of prosecutorial misconduct, this guy's even done it again. And there's been an elderly man assaulted. So anyway, but you had those things handed to you, and you said not sufficient to charge. But then you got your buddy over CPS to state to state no evidence of abuse. And this is the jackass who is supposed to have the police file in their hands, the police record or the police report and photographs when they go to these visits. They're supposed to have that for a few reasons, because the officer has had firsthand interview abilities, and now this person is secondhand. They're coming in, their follow up interview, and say, "Oh, by the way, can I see the head injury that I see you've suffered here?" Did they do that? No. Miss Sarah Smallwood, Nicole Martin. I wouldn't doubt you two people one day get called in on this little trip, that because I did go visit Miss Smallwood at CPS, and we did have a conversation, and there I said an apology for some of the things that I'd said to her, but now she said it with her own mouth. She's responsible. Yes, ma'am, you are. You definitely are. You're responsible for your subordinates, and you're responsible for also reviewing everything that's placed forward. And you also seen the sheriff's report that also had these claims of head injury and medical report, and also photographs of the injury, and you said no evidence of abuse. Yeah, yeah. There's a hammer coming, folks. Not Brett Reddick's kind. The kind that's gonna squash these shitty ass officials who are scratching one another's backs and doing it on the backs of abused children, and the destruction of families. You're not going to get away with that. You're not. It's simply not going to happen. Family members being killed, and people being lied to, and just because there's a good old boy network vein here that existed, because it's on its way out. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, it is, because there are more Daryls and Tonys being spawned up everywhere you look, and that's a good thing. There are people now that are saying, "Hey, these guys, they're legit. It is these people, these officials are lying. They are lying. This guy that I've known for 30 years, who's been a legal official, who sat on a bench for a year, he's a liar. Yeah, that's right. I called you a liar, sir, and I have proof of it. I mean, I've got a Facebook rant here that says you are. But on any event, I think these people get I mean, in some of these positions, and then they feel like, oh, you can't touch me. Well, yeah, because we're your boss. We put you there, and we can take you away. We can remove you. So I can't wait to see how this whole judge thing turns out, as far as his replacement with Mr. Former Prosecutor Andrew McCoy. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. I mean, he's kind of got his ass neck deep in Casey's case as a prosecutor. You're not making that go away. And some of the decisions, I mean, for somebody to aid and to cover up a potential murder. I mean, but then one day you're walking down the street and you're approached by a man, Mr. Petrie, and he asked you a question if you'd viewed all the evidence, and you said no. You said no, but yet you concluded no charge, just like your buddy, because you people aren't used to being held under the fire. Well, I got some bad news. There's a fire coming. It's coming. When the federal, I mean, I have a feeling. I just do. Because there's some of these new guys coming up in organized crime and law enforcement, and they're biting at the bit. And if Trump gets reelected, or even if he doesn't, but I have a feeling if he does, the shit's really going to hit the fan. And if not, it's just going to take a little longer. That's all, because you can't shut the door on something so obvious forever. You can't. There's souls reaching from the grave, and they're ready to be recognized. I believe that. And that's that. I do pray for our leadership. I pray for their guidance, in the light of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You guys don't have to believe that. That's what I believe. And I pray for their direction. I pray it's in the light, and if it's not, one day you're going to get a God wink, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. It's better to do the right thing when you're in the scope of your job, and just do it right. Do it right. I mean, especially if you're entrusted in a place of trust and a position where you're serving people and they count on you and they count on your integrity and your loyalty and your honor. Don't shit on them. Don't shit on them because it's you're taking away from the integrity of the position, and it's just because you're a shitbag by doing so. If you do so, so just do what you do what the public expects of you. Do it by the book, and you're not going you won't fail. I do pray for the officers that were attacked here in Wilmington by some derelict. I guess this guy jacked these two up. One of them was bit by. I guess the dude has what the hell's that? Shit, hepatitis C, and he bit one of the officers. So there again, going back to I went with a specific mission to the last council meeting, but they started talking about these officers' pay and their and you think about what they go through, and then you think about their pay, and then they're talking about substandard pay, and then how in other areas they're getting sometimes $10, $8 more an hour. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, it is. I mean, you don't get into that job to get rich for sure, but earning I might cuss. Earning a living is it's key, especially waking up. I mean, imagine this, guys, waking up every morning, strapping on about 30 pounds of shit, already knowing you've already trained your mind to understand that you may not come home. You may get shot, bit, stabbed, poked, stuck with a needle, spit on, puked on. You might encounter choking babies, dead babies, raped babies, killed. It's shit that human eyes shouldn't have to be conditioned to see. And these guys see it, and they deal with it. And to even argue their fucking pay is quite frankly for it to be a topic at council is quite frankly fucking amazing. I'm just shocked. I really am. That should be something these jack wagons should be out seeking. Like, are we paying our guys enough? Well, what happens is when you don't, the morale of those officers shoot through the floor, and they don't like doing their jobs. And plus, if you got shitbags like Mr. Ruddick, who used to run the helm of the law director, and shoots down, or have a prosecutor that shoots down 15, 20 felonies that you've busted your ass on for a month, and oh wait, we're not going to charge this, and come to find out that might be one of their buddies. I mean, what's that going to do to your morale? Like, you don't get to see the fruits of your work. So yeah, I mean, I changed my direction with what I was going to say, and I went to the crime piece, and not only are these guys dealing with the shit that our own community members are bringing, but they're importing people here with problems and addicts, addictions and mental health problems. They're fucking bringing them here. So not only do we have to encounter them, the cops have to deal with them every night when they're roaming the streets stealing your shit so they can get high again. And when I see a panel of council members sitting up there in their fucking in their own little private little neighborhoods and shit, knowing they don't have to deal with it, a lot of them, some of them do. Well, I take that back. Mr. Knowles had experienced a break-in by one of the vagrants at one point, so I take that back. Some of them may, but somebody is importing those people here. Somebody is targeting these people and bringing them here, and I bet you that we're going to find out who's doing that and why. I'll bet you $100. Anybody want to bet? Put me a little happy face or a sad face down there. Woohoo! Come on. Anybody want to bet $100? I'll be like, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I again, for that to have even been a conversation for Mr. Evelyn to be presenting to council is quite frankly disgusting. It is. So yeah. So I do have an idea. I mean, of course, our body armor and theirs was like day and night. Our shit's like plates of steel. Theirs is like Kevlar. But in any event, wear that shit all day. And sometimes they got downtime and they're just sitting in a damn car. And that sucks too. It works on your health, works on your stress. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I don't need to get into that. Give them their damn money. I mean, it shouldn't even be a question. I mean, if you're not, I mean, you attract certain types of officers when you pay like that. And I'm not saying that we have those here right now, right this minute, because I think this pay thing, I think law enforcement in general just got a huge jump everywhere but Wilmington. So they need to get on the ball on that. But on the same token, yeah, it's I think our moral compass as a race of humans, it's going the wayside, folks. I mean, what happened? What's going on, man? I mean, I can remember a day. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that shit, but there is a root cause, and I do believe that media has a lot to do with it. And speaking of media, keep your eyes open in the next week or two. Or on Facebook, local groups. Just keep your eye open. Semper Fi and God bless. But remember, all you people in that Pitzer case, I'd be running. If I was one of the loose links that knows that I didn't do much, I'd be running for amnesty fucking quick.